Alright, so hello everybody, welcome, how are we doing? Let's dive into the semi-final from the ESL Open Cup Europe number 133 between the Blue Protoss player in the top right-hand corner of the map from Storm Gaming. This is MaxPax. Taking on the Red Terran player in the bottom left-hand side from MouseSports, we do have HeroMarine. And obviously this is becoming quite the classic. I was actually looking at the ESL points earned from weekly cups recently, and HeroMarine has like 50 or 60 this year, and MaxPax has over 100. Obviously, MaxPax with a lot of big wins in these cups, but also just playing in the NA Cup frequently as well. Definitely gives him a little bit of a boost in that regard. He's also had a couple cups which he could play in that others have not due to traveling for events. So, yeah, MaxPax really becoming kind of the king of the weeklies this year. Very fun to see. Obviously, I didn't cast this weekly because it was the day I got home from Home Story Cup. I had some pretty crazy travel that day, and I ended up being delayed a whole bunch, so it's never easy for me to just, you'd think, leave your hotel, get to the airport, fly home from Germany, Wardy, what's that, 5-6 hours at most? Casual 12-hour trip home. Yeah, I know, I just can't do a single day of travel easily, honestly. I swear I have better travel to America than I do other places in Europe a lot of the time. So yes, I didn't get to cast this live. This is from the replay pack that they provide us every week, so decided to jump in. Definitely was looking for some YouTube content specifically, so hello. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's good to see you guys, and I really appreciate you guys being here and stuff. And yeah, obviously if you're on the YouTube, hit the like button, maybe smash the subscribe button. I don't know, you guys know the drill. You guys know what can happen. It always helps us out. The YouTube is in, I say it's in a rut, but it's actually just being kind of on a whole new standard of low for the entirety of this year, so we might have to start doing a little bit more focus on the YouTube again. I've tried pushing it a couple times, it didn't work out. But yeah, would like to try and get it at least back up and running a bit, because lately it's, like I said, it's definitely not been too hot. And it's definitely been a kind of a question mark in terms of how we're going to continue, if we continue with YouTube at all. So, working on that. Your likes and subscribes help a whole bunch. But anyways, let's start talking about this game. Of course, new maps in the ESL Open Cups, and they're now on the ladder as well. Thankfully, you guys can play these if you have not already. And yeah, MaxPax, for me, MaxPax's PvT was a matchup which I was never really convinced by. It felt like he was really reliant on either DTs or 4-gate Blink Stalkers being extremely successful. Otherwise, the matchup felt like it fell apart for him quite a lot. But I think it's really been a testament to just how solid MaxPax really is, that he's been able to start adapting a lot more in this matchup. Catches that Reaper, HeroMarine losing out on that, unfortunately. But yeah, I think overall it's a testament to how MaxPax has just been looking solid overall as a player, because he's also adapted a lot in ZVP lately, in a matchup where he was very set on his ways before the patch, and the fact he's kind of bouncing back now and looking good across all matchups, again, MaxPax just really growing, and honestly, I just really feel like we're missing MaxPax in these offline events. I'd love to see what he could manage to do, if he could travel to an event, if he could go to a Valencia or a Home Story Cup or something. It really feels like we're missing him at these events, as we are going to see this Zealot going to go down. I love that we don't set the Widowmine off on that. The Zealot is very much so a sacrificable unit anyway. And so if you can keep that Zealot, keep the Widowmine shot for the Stalkers, it really basically shuts down the Stalker pressure, because there's no way you want to give up a Stalker here. Maybe at best you have a Probe, that sacrifices itself to the Widowmine. But by then, now we've got 2 Widowmines, right? So this really shouldn't be something that MaxPax can do much against. Yeah, HeroMarine expanded high ground, but that's absolutely fine. And he is actually going to push himself quite aggressively down this ramp and just make sure he gets rid of these Stalkers. So far lost 3 Marines. He actually put some SCVs down here, but I assume they're about a mine on the natural anyway, because he's oversaturated, so that is also not really too much of an issue. As we got our few Marines and SCVs hanging out together on the ramp, I'm just going to be seeing the medevac did take the 2 Widow mines out across to the top of the map as well. So 2 mines out to the top, a couple of Stalkers will go and chase those down. I'm just going to be dropping the Robo into the natural expansion here before we take a 3rd base or anything, but it's all off 2 gates. They shouldn't be too aggressive. The only problem I have here is that Blink is really far from being done. Fortunately, he gets a lot of damage done to this medevac before it gets in position, and yeah, that's actually kind of bad for HeroMarine. So at least he can park it here, but it's unlikely he can really make much of a play. And it means that even though Blink wasn't done, he's not going to be able to take advantage of that at all for now, because you just have the couple of gates actually coming through, and MaxPax is indeed going to turn this into 4 gateways of Blink Stalker pressure, so he is going to get aggressive across the other side. While HeroMarine is building a pretty kind of defensive set of units, even an aggressive set of units really, but putting the bunker down all of these units, Marines, tanks, Banshee, lots of damage output, right? Really potential to do a lot of damage to a Terran army, or to a Protoss army should one show up. So we have in our engineering bays dropping down over here, as we do have our bunker and engineering bay. Getting that wall off set up to make this attack of MaxPax a little bit more difficult. You know, the Banshee might just sneak around the map, and even Cloakless could pick up a few workers, now moving into a Raven. I actually kind of like that, right? A fairly cheap way to maybe get a lot done, and definitely to potentially force some more Stalkers back over on that other side. We already have kept 3 Stalkers here due to the medevac, and it feels like MaxPax is not going to get much done at all with his initial blink in. Now he can maybe maneuver back down to the low ground and maybe go for this tank, but behind a bunker, it just feels so difficult to bust down this position right now. Let's see if she gets shot down by the Stalkers. We do see the Prism loading up another Stalker as well, and the Banshee coming up the right, going to head in towards the main very soon. I mean, the cool thing is this hasn't been seen at all, so definitely potential for HeroMarine to get quite a bit of damage done. So in we go. We're going to start shooting at some of these probes. First probe already going down. The Stalkers there do get pushed back by the siege tank. I'm just going to be having the stim pack and the +1 attack upgrade coming through on the engineering bay as well. Charge going to be the choice from MaxPax following the blink. No surprises there. His own third base is coming up to completion. And HeroMarine just kind of begins the long road to stim pack and combat shield. Once these bio upgrades have kicked in, that's definitely going to make quite a bit of difference as well. So just getting those bio upgrades up and into play. And obviously that really will power him up to go across the map and maybe start trading, but shouldn't happen too soon. Looks as though I missed the medevac dying here. And the Banshee only got 1 kill before being forced out to the edge, and obviously that's the problem with not having Cloak. It's very hard to find another way in. Maybe over here, then into the natural. I don't know what else you're really looking to achieve with this Banshee. It's not something which I feel like we have to keep alive, so I feel like it is better just to try and find a way in and get some damage. Especially right now when you may be able to kind of force a few Stalkers back at home again. Just, again, ease the transition into your bio upgrades and so on. Here we go. Gonna find 1, 2 probes pretty much straight away. Workers already going down. Just gonna be seeing the Stalkers. Not quite gonna get the Banshee. So yeah, I mean, that was a cute play, and the Order Turret now showing up for a couple of extra probes, and HeroMarine now is starting to find some serious damage. Giving the Banshee again a couple more kills at the end. Gonna get, oh no, I thought 1 more, but actually hit the Stalker as the final shot. At the same time, Stalker's getting pushed back, and HeroMarine begins to push. This is off 2 bases, but we do have a 3rd on the way. How are we feeling about this attack? Well, I actually kind of feel like this is pretty good at the moment. A pause came in, obviously benefits cast and replays. You don't have to sit through pauses. So this little group of Stalkers getting chased out up to the top. Fire Force coming along and just going to start trading with these few Stalkers here. A couple of Zealots are going to start charging in. The tanks are siege, and they're going to be able to start target firing some of those Stalkers down. A lot of Stalkers taking a lot of damage as our Bio Force ends up over here. And these medevacs are going to load up and go reinforce back across the map as well. I mean, this does feel like a scary moment here for MaxPax. So he actually finds 2 of these siege tanks that were a little bit unprotected. Now the other 2 tanks get jumped on HeroMarine. Oh, he's going to lose pretty much every single siege tank here, and that's really kind of rough. 2 of the medevacs reinforced just weren't unloaded yet, and still has a pretty hefty supply lead. So maybe HeroMarine will still be okay coming out the other side of this one. Extra high temple warping in. They are going to become Archons, of course. No Storm in play or anything. It is only 3 gases here from MaxPax. So at this stage, you're kind of hoping to just keep your Stalkers alive and to basically spend, oh my god, well, basically spend your gas on Archons and your minerals on Zealots. Otherwise, you really would start to need some extra gases. This was a massive catch. A full medevac court on the right-hand side. Big play, and that does weaken this drop and obviously brings the supplies a bit closer together because HeroMarine was quite far ahead of the supply. These Stalkers get another medevac that was still kind of half full. Only costs him 1 Stalker, and I mean, this entire drop process from HeroMarine has been disastrous. He's going to lose, well, another medevac. Obviously, just 2 medevacs left here, but now not really able to do anything else. The extra units warping into the main base. These extra Zealots coming through. A Prism has a few Zealots inside as well, and this force of MaxPax. I mean, this feels kind of scary right now because he's got Zealots in the main that HeroMarine doesn't see. So he's already got that attack set up. He'll be able to set up the attack on the front. And I assume he can drop the Zealots down to this position as well. I mean, he can attack everywhere at this moment in time. And The fact that HeroMarine just doesn't have vision of the edge of his base is kind of crazy, no? A few more Zealots unloading. Everything's pulling to the front because he sees the main army over here, although he did just walk into Widowmine range. We at least blink out of that, but there go the Zealots. He did just send all the Zealots into the main, and this main army pushing the front here as MaxPax looking for some damage. Anti-armor missile strikes, though, and that's going to be hurting the Stalkers. Fortunately for MaxPax, it's not on the Zealots, which obviously meant to be in the front and tanking. 14 SCVs went down already, though, so pretty hefty amount of damage in that regard. The Zealots finish up a refinery, turning back around onto Marines and Marauders. Just picking those off as well, and now coming back in this left-hand side as Stalkers and Archons get going. A lot of these SCVs in a lot of trouble on this third base, just have to be evacuated, but, well, they die in their evacuation. And we tried to get the orbital. I don't think we've got the damage output for that, but, I mean, the eco damage is done, really. MaxPax did lose 7 probes just now, I believe, to a Widowmine drop in one of the mineral lines. We saw that moving across the map before. It's obviously very superficial damage compared to the 37 he just killed. He had to do some damage here, though. I mean, HeroMarine was on 70 workers versus 60, which is obviously amazing for a Terran to be up 10 workers. But MaxPax now has found the damage to put himself ahead in that regard, and now he just needs to find himself a fight in terms of armies. If he can find him an army fight, then, yeah, I mean, obviously he can do pretty well there as we continue to gather up on that bottom side. Prism loads up a few High Templar. We are on the way to Storm, and like I say, you just have to fight this army right at this stage, and Storm should help you to get to that point. HeroMarine is fully committed to being aggressive here. Bio unit production and nothing else. He does not have any SCV production on the way right now. I'm just going to be seeing those Stalkers blinking back as Zealots pulling back as well, at Archon being chased. I'm just going to be seeing the Bioforce continuing through, looking for this Archon here. As they do chase it down, and they are going to grab that, so a little punishment from HeroMarine is... Yeah, I'm kind of surprised in a way he doesn't pull the boys, but I guess he assumes he can maybe make it happen with his army, and then the reinforcements will be important. It's going to be tough with the Storms in play, though, guys. Obviously, the Storms do have to land, however. He hits a Matrix on the Prism, which means that no more High Templar can get out of that Prism for the moment. HeroMarine on top of the 4th base will start to shut down this economy. Can use this as a choke point as well to help against the Zealots, but then he is stuck in a corner, and the Prism is looking for the future Storms. Stalker on the top side will flank the Medivacs to stop a drop into the main base. MaxPax very well prepared there. Blinks to the low ground to finish off these Medivacs. This first army is done for, and HeroMarine's reinforcements are not really looking too terrifying when you consider that MaxPax likely has around a Zealots on the way very soon to tank for himself. There's going to be more than enough, and MaxPax takes game 1 of this semi-final in the ESL Open Cup Europe. Bottom side of the map is going to be the Blue Protoss player MaxPax. Definitely moments there where it did not look good for him, but the attack with the Zealots and then the comboed main army really went a long way in his favor. Shutting down that drop heading to the right side so easily as well was a big part of it. I think that really took some of the wind out of HeroMarine's sails, as he has to cancel and rebuild the pylon at the start of that. But yeah, it took the wind out of HeroMarine's sails as Big Gabe, our red Terran in the top left-hand corner. I think that's obviously a pretty big deal as well, right? I mean, that's definitely a pretty notable little something to mention. Because without that, HeroMarine maybe gets a bit more Chaos Cores, and he has a larger army striking elsewhere. And that becomes, I think, very difficult for MaxPax to deal with, considering the situation, so... yeah. Good stuff, as MaxPax takes that 1-0 lead. Game number 2 coming up here in just a few moments. See where this develops. Obviously pretty aggressive last time from MaxPax, turning that into the 4-gate blink attack. Obviously that's something that we know MaxPax is pretty darn fond of. Interested to see what happens in this game number 2 then, if he wants to be aggressive. Of course, this is a short map in Moondance, but it does have that in-base expansion, so it does lead you toward that kind of... It definitely leads you towards that kind of concept or that idea of being a little bit more kind of macro with that in-base expand available. CV and the probe come up to each other and will nibble against one another right there. Just as we're at the start of the game. Wizard King, thank you so much for the Prime, for the 21-month resub. Welcome back. Thanks for supporting. And hope you're doing fantastic. Appreciate you guys dropping in today. As I just wait for this game number 2 to, like I say, continue developing through. Factory drops down on the side of HeroMarine. Reaper is going to be popping out. Reactor building as well. Here we go. Still going after TSL. True dedication. I honestly expected to be busy for at least another 3 or 4 hours today. It's been a very long time since we had like an official casting day that ended this quickly. And I have no content for my YouTube tomorrow, so kind of just wanted to do something. I'm not going to be here for long. I actually think I'm only going to do this best of 3, guys, and I'm going to go offline. Just figured may as well crank it out on the stream as well as record it for YouTube, you know. May as well just do the double. Even if it's just popping online for a half hour or so, I get a little bit of ad revenue because I didn't meet my ad hours this month and stuff, so may as well just grab the extra 30 bucks I make of ads. If that. Probably extra $15. Pay for some lunch. Yeah, TSL day was very short. I mean, I was done in 4.5 hours. And I had break first series as well, so it's kind of crazy. I like casted 2 best of 3s, took a series break, and casted 2 more best of 3s. I mean, that's kind of like one of the easiest days you could probably have. And all the best of 3s were short today, which is why the day was short in general. So yeah, a little bit wild. Couple Reapers popping out, so it's 3 Reapers and a Hellion, which will move forward here. The 2 Adepts moving in and looking for that Hellion as they will shade by, but that means they're pretty committed now. HeroMarine will lose 1 Hellion, but I mean, he should at least get rid of an Adept. He's going to lose a Reaper as well. Yeah, at least now he gets this Adept without losing anything else. Good job saving the SCV. Kept that command center building pretty much throughout this. A Reaper and a Hellion lost. I mean, this was obviously a little bit of extra investment from HeroMarine early. He did go for extra Reapers and the extra Hellion that, you know, compared to what he would have initially needed in general. Just going to be seeing our units heading down towards the natural. Little grenade going down. Just going to keep that Adept at bay. And the Phoenix just going to grab themselves both those Reapers. And that's pretty much going to shut down the start here for HeroMarine. Obviously, the Phoenix a different style from MaxPax, cranking out into something different. And with the Robo facility so quickly, he's looking to play straight to Phoenix Colossus, which can be really effective on Moondance because you can take this backwards base. Super safe way to get to 3. Oh, maybe even you go forward first, then backwards later. It's a really defendable set of bases because of that. And so playing Phoenix Colossus works very well. It's a very defensive army. And even going across the map, right? I mean, Phoenix Colossus can do very well into these bases. No ramp into this natural area. Terrans typically like to expand back here. So if you really want to get aggressive, if your opponent gives up too much stuff attacking into your defendable unit composition, then you can get a good counterattack going too with the short rush distance. So I do like Phoenix Colossus on this map. I do feel like it's been one of the things that's been very effective as of late. So excited to see a bit more out of that as you just have this force of HeroMarine back around the top side yet again. And yeah, at least scared the Phoenix away. None going down. If you missed TSL, well, it was a game of HeroMarine versus Protoss where he was an absolute Phoenix murderer. And he killed more Phoenix than I knew possible in like a 10-minute game. It was actually quite impressive, so I'm kind of like sat here like, oh my goodness, he didn't kill the Phoenix, but then I'm like, well, yeah, I guess he kind of shouldn't have killed the Phoenix, right? So kind of normal. I'm just like, I'm just in the frame of mind where I'm like, I'm expecting him to kill like every single Phoenix possible. Grabs the Hellion and there's a little push. Cyclone, Viking, Marines. Can be scary. Obviously the battery is there and the second battery, oh sorry, it's Pylon coming through. Just the 1 battery. Supercharge is available though, and obviously the Immortal can really chunk away at the Cyclones if they get too close. Phoenix have been very cautious, trying to hang back as well. We've got to drop the super battery now because that Immortal is locked onto by a Cyclone and it was out of shields. So it's definitely time for the Immortal to get healed back up. Super battery being the only way to really achieve that. I think the scary thing here for HeroMarine is there's a lot of chase potential with these Phoenix. They could absolutely go after every single one of these Marines, the Medevac and the Cyclones if they wanted to. So there's absolutely a possibility as a couple of probes do end up going down. We collect together in the center. Just going to be seeing Colossus production is finally underway. That's obviously the major plan here for MaxPax, ending up on Colossi. So to finally get that started really does help quite a lot, as we just see how Phoenix do get shoved away. For the moment, to the top of the map, and going to loop around into that main base where they'll find a Marine, 2, 3 Marines. Maybe could have had a tank. Obviously, picking up the tank takes a while to kill, and I think that's the uncertainty there from MaxPax, whether you can get the kill in the tank. And you know, in that case, it's like, well, do I get any damage versus damage I can absolutely get by killing off a few Marines? So, trying to figure out that situation just a little bit. You have another Phoenix coming back along the right-hand side just to join up with everything else. That means all of our Phoenix together. I'm just going to be back down the bottom now. And gathered up once again. Extended Thermal Lance still coming through. Forge just finishes out. A couple of gates coming in line. And the +1 attack upgrade. Chrono boosting out of the +1. Chrono boosting. Oh, +1 attack. Chrono boosting out of the Forge. Turns out +1 will always Chrono boost out of the +1, I guess. Apologies. Words tumbling out of my mouth too quickly. So yeah, I mean, at this stage, kind of feels a little bit tough to really bust MaxPax down. We're going to see stimming combat shields, but what? He's going to be stimming into what? I mean, 2 Colossi at this stage soon. A lot of extra gates coming in. MaxPax did expand backwards, as did HeroMarine, so you know, the 3 base is not exactly punishable. Maybe the 4th becomes attackable, but then it's up a ramp into Colossi. At least then the Protoss army should be more spread out, so that may present some opportunity here from HeroMarine. Potentially. Again, obviously no guarantee to that. This Observer just chilling out over here, just keeping an eye on, obviously, this little group of Bio, the few Cyclones, and the Vikings in the main. It's a great observer spot, and if HeroMarine doesn't see that, you know, it's just a little bit frustrating. There is that little shimmer. This is his point of view. A little bit more noticeable when you zoom in. I think he did notice that he was just waiting for the scan. That's pretty much as he hit 50 energy, so that's too good of a Phoenix to leave alive. You need to have sharp eyes if you're playing Terran at this level, because leaving observers like this alive, I said Phoenix obviously, but that's way too good an observer to leave alive, because leaving observers like that alive really just presents the Protoss with so much opportunity, because they're fully in the know, they know exactly what's going on, they can make the perfect reads, the perfect calls. That's obviously disastrous. The last thing you want is for the Protoss to be able to be in that much control of the game, because one unit just sits there watching your every move, so you've got to be really careful about that kind of stuff. We're not up to that nice 3 Colossi count. It looks like that'll be where we stop for now, getting the Prism out as well. HeroMarine has been very big on the Viking production. He only had 3 medevacs, and straight into Vikings from there. So he only made 1 round of medevacs off the reactor, because he had 1 medevac early as well. You see the Colossi actually coming forward to greet this army and saying, hey, you sure you don't want to siege up and slow this down? There's only 6 Phoenix. I'm a little bit worried about the amount of anti-air against the Vikings, and so far the Vikings doing pretty well picking through the Phoenix. They go down the ramp here, the Zelda charging forward. Again, there's not a lot of splash damage on the side of HeroMarine, because a lot of the focus has been Vikings. But if you can win the battle against Phoenix and Colossi, in theory, the rest of this army from the Protoss player should not be all that great. I feel like so far this is going very well for Gabe, who is going to get that tank push forward, so at least a little bit of splash and pressure on the army. You can see that Colossus just getting lasered down, means that the battery is out of energy too, so that has to be an overcharge, which is already popped. And obviously popping that so soon just makes it a little bit frustrating. Here's the Zelda counterattack though. MaxPax looking to alleviate some pressure, create some damage of his own at least, as HeroMarine is not stopping with this push. Oh my god, the Archons on top of the Vikings! Every single Viking dies, apart from a couple. There was so much anti-air with the Vikings there, but they all died in an instant because of the Archon splash damage. That is an absolutely massive moment, because then the Colossi survive. The tank was lifted, so you couldn't target fire the Colossi down either. And in the end, the Zelds did 13 SCVs of damage. What a turning point in this game. Those freaking Archons. Look at the army drop-off from HeroMarine here. Absolutely ginormous. Almost as big as Gabe himself, because, again, just those Vikings going down. And again, the Vikings were in such a commanding position too. If the Vikings do not die, everything from MaxPax is pretty much dead. So that is an insane moment. As we push forward here, a couple of engineering bays, or engineering bay and an armory getting cancelled. HeroMarine is counterattacking, recognizing maybe in any sort of interest in a base trade might just be good for him at this stage. He's going to go after this orbital command. I mean, he pretty much has to base trade, which MaxPax at this point got to be wondering a little bit of what's going on. He sees the main, he realizes that isn't good. What's MaxPax's response going to be? He pops a super battery on a single stalker, not ideal. There's another drop over here. MaxPax is pulling home, which is a responsible move against a base trade. He's probably feeling as though he's already done good damage on this side, and if he can just clean this up, then brilliant. HeroMarine's got this army, which has just been a little slow to get going. And we do chase those medevacs away. Low HP on one of them, but the single Phoenix shouldn't be able to get that. Okay, HeroMarine's move here might not kind of put him in a base trade scenario, but it does keep him from dying. Because this was an army that was unstoppable from MaxPax over here, and even if HeroMarine has all of his forces over here, I think it's really bad, because you do not want to be fighting backed up in the choke points. No ramp for the Protoss to push up, as I mentioned earlier. So HeroMarine kind of saying, okay, let's just kind of stop you from taking an engagement. I think that was absolutely spot on, because there was just too much splash available there from MaxPax, and HeroMarine did not have the time to get his tech back online. He's trying to rebuild that Viking count. If he can get to that Viking count again, then he's probably in an alright position once more. Although he's still trying to get up to the Ghost Academy, which, if you can get there, brilliant, but this is 45 SCVs and 3 bases. The guy is not rich. He doesn't just have money for days. MaxPax currently playing the... Actually going to go up to 7 gases, so he's just got a mass amount of gas income. that means he's going to be able to afford pretty much anything he wants. Plus 3 attack, plus 2 armor will start soon. Dark Shrine going down. I was about to say, we're getting to that stage where he's really just got money for days, and pros players will never complain about that because you can DT harass, you can start setting up disruptors, and these are all things which MaxPax begins to move on into while improving his upgrades and everything else. So the only thing he might not have an answer for is actually Liberators, which might be kind of cool. HeroMarine could play a lot of zoning on this map, and again, a lot of this map happens in kind of narrow areas. This area here is a bit more open right in the center, but if you're being the aggressor or the defender, Liberators could be really good on this map. Very difficult to flank them as well unless you already have the flank pre-set up. So yeah, maybe Libs are kind of the answer for now for HeroMarine to draw him back in this, to give him a very competitive army, because he's going to need some very good trades considering the current economy situation. I mean, Gabe's economy is in the gutter. 48 SCVs, 13 minutes into the game is obviously very far from being ideal. Just got the batteries healing up, a couple units here on that bottom side. And just a few Stalkers heading out over to the left to join up with all of these Zealots. And I do like the activity on the map from MaxPax, even if these Zealots don't counter, having them as a potential flanking force. Just creating opportunities to engage in from different sides I think is very important in this matchup. And like I say, it's hard to set it up kind of on the fly on this map because you'd have to go like down and around all the time, These are kind of choked up areas. It is just going to be a massive counterattack. Huge amount of Zealots, a few Stalkers. So MaxPax kind of then believes that he's going to be able to just slowly make this happen in terms of the defense. But I think that's where the Liberators are going to put MaxPax into some trouble. While he is maybe putting Gabe into a bit of a check position, Gabe is maybe putting MaxPax into checkmate because MaxPax just can't really deal with this army. Especially the Liberators, and I mean, you can see him just donating units as he tries to come forward. The last Colossus may be going down shortly. Orbital has lifted off here. Where did all the Zealots go? They die? I think they all died to these Liberators. Wow, these Liberators have a bunch of kills, so the Zealots died on the ramp. MaxPax has a lack of army, and he just donated 2 Disruptors to the cause as well. So HeroMarine, with this push, looking absolutely fantastic. Disruptor shot flies in. Boom, hits the Viking, hits a bit of bio. We will grab a Disruptor. We will go after the Stalkers. I'm just going to be moving through into this natural expansion where now we can shut down some robo production. Zealots charging in, though the Stalkers do get an engagement onto the Liberators. Shutting these down is very important, but there's not been enough to fight the major Bioforce, and MaxPax has 20 army supply. He does have, oh my god, he's got so much money, but he's got no army. He's down 80, 90 army supply at any point in time right now. Robo facility goes down, there goes the Disruptor production. Surely MaxPax just cannot build anything here. Disruptor shot does land. Zealots coming through. Medevacs are starting to be drained of energy, so that is at least something where we might have just dead supply in the sky. But with 5 Liberators, 6 Liberators showing up, I know MaxPax has money, but what the hell do we spend it on? Opening in some Stalkers. He's still got this 1 Disruptor to try and hold on to as well. 30 army supply against the 85 right now. He's going to get dropped onto this low ground, so those Stalkers are donated. Disruptor shot doesn't really do much as far as I'm aware. I actually just don't think MaxPax can kill these Liberators. I think that's actually straight up impossible. Still trying to come forward, but this just ain't happening either, and I think MaxPax truly is down and out in this game. Is there any kind of hope? He comes forward here again. The Liberator is starting to be cleaned up at least a little bit. 48 probes going down, so if nothing else, this is going to start evening out the economies. This HeroMarine drops over here. This bottom left base from MaxPax still mining during this. Gabe mined out of the main. Natural and this in base are obviously pretty low, but he can just re-expand here with the main. Hey, you know what? That might be a factor that this Bioforce reinforcing is kind of low HP. MaxPax gets some Archons online. The ghost count is 1. And because Gabe never got these units across the map until now, and they're going to be joining up with no HP Medevacs, I mean, the HP on this army of HeroMarine is bad. Disruptor shot dodged, for the moment at least. I mean, we need the extra Archons to be part of this fight, I think. But even then, this army is so kiteable from HeroMarine. He should be able to kite for days. We are going to engage to save the Disruptor. Another stim. I actually think HeroMarine's army is killing itself. The stim is so expensive when these Medevacs are drained of energy. Everything is on fire. Orange and red health bars for HeroMarine. Now we got a DT counterattack as well, which is just a cute little something you don't really want to be dealing with right now as HeroMarine. It's so expensive for MaxPax too. Like, a single DT right now is actually kind of a lot when he is down so much armor and he's got so little economy. 4 more libs, I think, are really the answer. Again, Liberators are the one thing there's no good answer to at all right now. Yeah, Archons can splash them down, but if those libs spread out a little bit and get a siege up, I don't know what you really do there. The DT does move away, lets this base land. MaxPax is actually moving onto the map, which feels terrifying as well. Where the Liberator is going to go, just going to set up here. I think HeroMarine is very comfortable saying, hey, look, I'm going to have this base as my own. So I can utilize this base, I can just set this up. I think that makes a lot of sense. He's actually moving down this ramp. Okay. Is the ramp good for him? He's going to siege the libs, but I think we can get through the libs. Okay, he's going to shoot down 1 lib, shoot down 2. Doesn't actually kill an Archon yet. The Archon survives low HP, and the Zealots go charging forward. Hey, the upgrades, by the way, as well. 3-2 from MaxPax means the Zealots are really tanky. No. I didn't really notice the upgrades either. It's been such a chaotic game, but yeah, MaxPax has ridiculous upgrades. I didn't really think he'd have enough army to make upgrades matter again. Runs into this Liberator. He really just wants to take that down so he can control this mineral line. SCVs might actually have to flank into this. We drop a single EMP. 3 Archons are going to go huge. A couple Zealots clanking in. And HeroMarine is actually going to type GG. And MaxPax gets the 2-0. Whoa, holy crap. That was a ridiculous game, no? MaxPax was down 30 to 90 army supply with HeroMarine in his base. Damn, that was bonkers.